Hey guys, welcome back. We're getting ready here to head into the finals of the GEICO tournament. Just if you guys are just tuning in here, just to update you guys of what's going on. We started with 8 players. We went down to four, and now we're down to two. And those two players are Forsen and Kibler. They've been playing the GEICO Brawl rules, which today are actually right below us there. You guys can see those. And a little bit of details. Some of you guys may just be tuning in now. All cards and all the decks of all the players have had to follow the first rule, which is you need 2 instances of factors of 15 on every card in your deck. So the factors of 15, 1, 3, 5, and 15. They have to be shown on the card, in one instance on the attack, on the health, on the description, or the mana cost. So bio feature would be like a 3 attack, that counts, 5 health, that counts, spawns a 1/1 in the description, that counts. That's 3 instances. You only need 2. And this has some interesting repercussions, which we'll see as the decks get revealed here. And of course, all decks must include Nas Dormu. Failure to complete the tasks here. The first penalty is the Magma Rager. We've seen quite a few Magma Ragers in the tournament, but not much else from the penalty list from what I recall.
Yep, Forsen still has a pair of Magma Ragers lurking in one of those decks. I forget which one it was, but hopefully those don't pop up for him.
Yeah,
Looks like he added the Paladin deck like we expected, and Kibler
that's right.
actually added Warlock, which I
I
have to
didn't expect
think
that.
I have to think that's going to be nothing like Life Coaches, right? Like it's going to have taunts, it's going to have healing, it's going to have
Hmm.
early game. Like you just need early game. You need zombie chaz. You need all the stuff to survive. Or maybe he just goes zoo and just tries to fight fire with fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the aggressive creatures are just more efficient than the defensive creatures. Like taunt is worth like a death rattle, basically. So I think generally you want the annoying zoo creatures even in a defensive deck most of the time. You just kind of include a few of those extra defensive tools to maybe make it work. But we will see. The players are ready. The players again are playing Conquest. Normally, we're doing best of 5. Players had to submit 3 decks, had to construct all 3 decks within 15 minutes. But the fourth deck, the ones that we just talked about, this is only for the final round. The players had they had a day to think about it, but I think they just had a few minutes to submit the deck just before the finals here. If you missed it, Forsen did pretty well yesterday by just zerging the crap out of his opponents with his aggression. Seemed to work out pretty well.
Yep. He was just basically, I mean, he ran over Ratsma just in 3 games flat, beat a Warlock deck, and he had a closer series against Savitz. But at the end of the day, the aggression seemed to be the king of
Hmm.
yesterday. And of today, it's kind of been the opposite story. I mean, Firebat won with some aggro, but Kibler put him down 3-1 pretty quick and made it here with some slower decks.
Yeah, well, looks like we have a Paladin Mirror. This is the deck that Forsen just added, so it's probably a pretty well built deck. And most of the decks so far have had how should I say, maybe like a kink or two, a few things that didn't go quite as planned because it's hard to plan things perfectly in the allowed time. So here he drops the Knife Juggler. I don't really see why it's a risky play at all. It's not like you're going to run up against a shielded minibot or anything.
Yeah, the only thing that really would counter it would be a just a coin coghammer.
Hmm.
But I like it. It was an ambitious play. It was the most aggressive one you can take. Follows along with what Forsen's been doing, and he got rewarded for it. So he's going to
Yeah,
be
big
ahead on
time.
board early.
All right, well, to follow here, I mean, you have to. Do you have to kill every creature? Yeah, you probably have to kill every creature.
Well, I was just kind of thinking about that. It's like you get a pretty nice trade here, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you could just go face.
Yeah.
There's no consecration. You know, the only thing that really punishes you if you go too far in is mind control tech, which we see in Forsen's hand right now. But yeah, I mean, you can be safe, I guess.
Hmm.
I wonder why he went for the juggle then before attacking.
Maybe he tried to save the weapon charge and the damage to
Ooh.
face.
It's good that he did trade because the muster for battle is the one card that would punish him
Right.
with the line that he took.
Well, Here you can peacekeep the Twilight Drake, making it pretty useless, as most buffs are not allowed. Um, Actually, Blessing of Might is allowed, but we haven't seen that from a single Paladin deck, have we?
Yeah, what do you think about trading in those haunted creepers? Just getting the extra 1/1s, getting the extra power on board. What
Well,
what punish is it?
Explosive Sheep.
Yeah, but your opponent can't trigger the explosive sheep.
Elven Archer.
That doesn't punish. That only kills one of them. I think you get those juggles. You juggle
Get
it
the
up.
juggles. All right.
Maybe even Cog Hammer just to. You can.
Mm,
Well, nah. You
that
probably
doesn't
just
seem
play
so
that
good.
Eldor. I guess you play.
There's some chances Twilight Drake dies to the juggles here.
Yeah, he
That
gets.
chance is
He
gone.
gets like six. No, he still gets like
No,
four
it's
more
gone.
juggles. It can still die.
Oh, right, to the creature that he plays.
Yeah. I mean, he's going
Okay.
face, right? Like no matter what. Okay, missed. That's
All
unfortunate.
right. Well,
Yeah,
there's a lot of juggling in the face, at least.
I like this play. Like you're just putting a lot of power on the board.
Hmm.
It's really tough for Kibler to find a way to make this bad for Forsen.
Right. Right. It seems like Muster would be what you want to play, but if you play Muster, you can't play anything with it, and you have so many 5 drops in hand, it feels kind of sad. So perhaps the play is actually the Emperor, but then how do you win?
Yeah, I think you. There's basically three options. There's Muster, Blackwing, and Emperor. Emperor seems.
Big greedy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your opponent's probably going to ignore it in some way, like with either this Aldor or Coghammer, stuff like that. And then you make 3/3s next turn, but you're taking what, like 7 damage, so you're just dead. If you go for Muster, I mean, it's kind of the same story. You get to make a bunch of 3/3s next turn, but doesn't matter. He actually traded Greedy. Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Those are not Silverhand recruits. Those are
And
not.
he would have had that one. So that was a pretty interesting play there from Kibler. Uh,
Yeah,
just trying not to lose to that quartermaster draw because he's shown the tournament how effective it is more than anyone, and he doesn't want to be punished by that, which seems like a fair play.
yeah. I think Mind Control Tech was better than Hero Power there. I mean, it's a 3/3. And if you quartermaster the Silverhand recruit, it's a 3/3. This is kind of a more hidden lethal. Like Forsen
Mm.
technically has lethal, but his opponent doesn't know. Or does he? Let's see. Yeah, he
It's three,
has
four,
he has
7,
exact.
9. Yep, and he's at 9. That is exactly lethal.
So yeah, this is more concealed, I suppose. But I still would have liked to just it
I
wouldn't
like
have
the
mattered.
sneaky. I like the sneakiness.
Okay, okay. I guess the sneakiness is nice because your opponent's less likely to play something like a heal bot.
Hmm.
So it worked out well for him.
Yes, it did. And Forsen takes the opening game, though with the deck that he just added. So I think you just have to give credit that it is most likely their best deck.
Paladin has probably posted the highest win percentage of this tournament. The only real stuff you lose is your 4-drop slot. You lose, the ability to play Kings, True Silver,
Yeah.
Consecrate, but it's such an effective deck at getting ahead on board early with stuff like Muster for battle. And it also retains like some of its more power plays on turn 5. You get to keep Tyrion for the late game. So it's done really well. It's no surprise to see it win. Kibler's lost a mirror match, so it's not like it dropped the ball or anything.
Right. We haven't seen too many Tyrions out, though. I'm actually not convinced that it is in every deck. I think a lot of the Paladins mostly focus on the early to mid-range. I think the Tyrion is a non-factor in most games, but maybe after the game we saw just a short while ago, people might reconsider. But it doesn't matter because the only person that had the chance to reconsider was Forsen, and he just took a
Yeah.
win with that Paladin deck.
Yep.
And that Magma Rager.
Well, it's gonna get pitched away. So, like you said the other day, it's probably the place you want to see it. I guess is in the mulligan. You
Yep.
can't redraw it.
You get the other one, though. There is, in fact, 2 in this deck.
Yep.
We know that for a fact. The Voidwalker and the Leper Gnome, pretty decent. The Doom Guards have been very kind to Forsen. In fact, that's why he's here at all. Looks like he wants to pitch that, though. Picks up a much worse card there with Nosdormu.
Yeah, I mean, is Nosdormu really better than Magma Rager? I feel like it really just isn't.
Yeah,
They're about the same.
it's true. Well, I feel against Kibler, the Nosdormu isn't too bad, just because with the way that his decks are designed, you're very likely to make it to a stage where you can play Nosdormu. And if
Yeah,
you're in a marginal situation, you can win.
yeah. I mean, Nosdormu has denied 2 onboard lethals this tournament just because the players were so frantic to not get roped out.
Yeah. All right, so you do the trade there.
Yeah.
Be a bit less vulnerable to a muster.
Yep. So now Forsen really needs to pick up something, or else he's gonna fall really far behind. I mean,
Is he? He has. Kibler has absolutely nothing next turn.
yeah, I mean the other side of the table, he needs to pick up something too. And there's not many 4 drops in the deck, but a 3 drop.
That's
will
a
be
big
just
something.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 3 drop that acts as good as most 4 drops.
Yep. So I would say Kibler's, doing pretty well for himself here. You talked about Tyrion being a non-factor, but I feel like it'll really just seal up this game. Like
Yeah.
when a game's pretty close, Tyrion's probably the best card to play on 8, especially when your opponents can't play Silence.
What do you think about Argus here? Attack into the 3/5 and Argus. You basically challenge the board in an even state.
Ooh, I was thinking about Argus trading the 3/2, but yeah, that makes sense too. You can, you don't get punished by much besides maybe a cog hammer, which
Yeah.
you're pretty sure isn't there. You probably would have seen it by now, but yeah, I mean the tap flame imp really just put him further behind though, so it was ambitious.
Mhm.
He does get to clear off one of these here. He can choose
Yeah.
the 5/4 and then waste the taunt, or he can choose a 3/2 and get an extra taunt.
I think I like this. I think I like removing the 5/4. It just makes it so you take less damage.
Yeah, this is fine. He's pretty much hoping Kibler's just going to brick on some stuff here. He knows he's been playing off the top pretty recently, but I mean, I think he's got plenty of gas to get through this game.
Yeah, Kibler's in a pretty good position here. With board initiative and very, very high quality late game cards. The Warlock just doesn't have those. Doesn't have like equal card for card answers, and when you're tapping, because you don't have that high quality 1 drop, you don't have that like really just high quality zoo deck. Tapping
Yeah.
just feels kind of bad.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really, 25 is already really high in just a constructed game, but especially when your deck's only real burn is Doomguards and Leopardomes, because you can't play any other burn. You don't have any cheese way out of the game. Forsen barely escaped against Savitz with a second Doomguard draw, but normally you can play stuff like Bane of Doom, Power Overwhelming. You just get more reach, and Forsen's going to be lacking that.
All right, well, Forsen pushes for the most board he can possibly push for. Normally, you would never see a play like this because you'd lose in a horrible way to Consecrate, but that card is not available to the players with our GEICO format.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like Forsen again is just he's fighting for board and he's hoping, okay, if Kibler doesn't have anything great, maybe I can take over board and just coast that to a win. But Tyrion just challenges everything in the zoo deck.
yeah, there's no silence. It's hard to kill that card. It's harder to do anything, and when you kill it, you lose a bunch of creatures to the weapon. And with Kibler being at 25, it doesn't matter that there isn't much healing involved in this deck.
Yeah, one of the cards I kind of looked at as kind of a cute alternative to removal and silence is you can still play Tinkmaster over Spark.
I've seen zero of those, though.
We have not seen that quite yet. Mortal Coil here is a really nice draw, though, because otherwise the 1/1 would contest the 5/1 Lotheb body that he leaves behind.
There's another coil. That's also pretty good.
Yep, it's gonna. He's basically setting himself up. He's giving Kibler, a good trade, and then he gets to coil off the Azure or the Twilight Drake body.
Well, that's a pretty good draw. Muster lets you finish off
Yeah.
Lithub and lets you combo with Quartermaster, which basically wins the game.
If there was a better play than Tyrion this turn, it was Muster Quartermaster.
Yep.
And with no Hellfire, no Shadow Flame, no real option to clear this board available, especially with Kibler just going face. One of the
Yeah.
things that Kibler's realized
Okay.
is in this format, you can just basically go face all the time. There's very few things that punish you.
In fact, I don't even know what Forsen is looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, he can stay
That's not
alive to the board. He has to Doomguard, but he has to Doomguard, and unless he kills off, he could tap. See, I really just don't understand why you would tap, though. Like, there's not much great stuff in your deck.
Yeah, but I guess at that point you just throw the towel. So
Yeah.
why play anything at all?
Yeah. So, off the bat, both Paladin decks get very easy wins. And just like that, the strongest class is out of the way.
Do
Shaman's
you feel
pretty much-
Paladin is the strongest class? Now definitively?
I think so, yeah. After kind of seeing it play out, I think Shaman's also really strong, but I think Paladin might have the advantage in that matchup just because they take over board so well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've really liked Paladin so far.
No, you're absolutely right. The Paladin not only does a pretty good job of stabilizing, not only has the option to play mid-range, as Kibler has shown us, but it also does a better job than Shaman, even though it doesn't have a lot of its key cards to battle aggro decks. What does that say about Shaman and Constructed then?
Well, they have bad matchups, that's what it says. I mean,
Yeah.
Muster for Battle is almost like a counter to Lightning Storm, as unintuitive as that sounds. Like, it's just, you don't want to storm the 1/1s, but if you don't, you're dead to
just
Quartermaster.
lose.
Yeah. So it's the situation where it's always been Shamans. One of their, worst matchups has been Paladin. Once you go into Constructed, you add stuff like Patron, and it's like, oh, geez.
All right,
it's-
well, we have a Mech Shaman from Forsen up against Kibler's added deck for this final round, which is going to be Warlock, which so far seems exactly like Life Coach's Warlock.
Yeah, we saw Mind Control Tech, we saw Jiraxis. It is a slow Warlock deck. Maybe Kibler didn't quite see how crushed Life Coach got, but Life Coach should get crushed by Firebat, who had 3 extremely aggressive decks. Forsen, pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
I mean, he does.
three pretty aggressive decks.
He does have the Mech Shaman. He does have a Zoo, and he does have Hunter left. So I mean, I think this is a really important match for Forsen to win. If he just lets this Warlock get by, then Kibler has the Priest deck, which has consistently been very good for him, and the Shaman deck, which also has been pretty good for him. So I would say Kibler's weakest link is probably this Warlock deck.
Mm-hmm. All right, Forsen goes for the Cogmaster play. It allows him to play the... oh, that's a nice draw.
Yeah, I think he's just going to protect his board, though.
Yeah, because it still threatens 3 damage next turn. Right now, it basically is a charge on the Power Mace, so you kind of want to represent 6 damage next turn and still have a board left over. So,
And
Kibler's
there it
struggling
is.
here.
This is basically exactly what we saw from the Life Coach game, which was having the Life Tap on turn 2 and 3 being just completely locking you out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The taunts are going to come down. He has Healbot. He has a lot of taunts, but stuff like Rockbiter is going to help him push through that without losing his board. And I have to think that eventually, with no board clears available, because you were talking about earlier, I mean, usually these taunts and heals are supplemented by board clears. You need a way to come back on board, because if you just keep playing taunts, you give your opponent the option of how they want to trade. They leave behind stuff, and eventually the taunts fall behind in that battle.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think about the Harvest Golem versus the Spider Tank? It seems like the Spider Tank would have fared better against just about everything. It also threatens more damage. Yeah, it's more resistant to getting hit with like 5 damage, I guess. But with Kibler playing
Yeah,
nothing so far, with Kibler playing mid-range, you have to kind of consider the fact that you want to kill this engine the following turn.
I really don't think Forsen thought too much about the fact that Sinjin and Belcher are very likely in his opponent's range, and 5 damage is very relevant against both of those.
Hmm.
I think he just kind of figured, okay, I'm fighting for board. When you fight for board, Death Rattle minions are really nice. I'll just buff this up. What could go wrong? And he's
Hmm.
been one off of, that magic number 2 times in a row now.
All right, well, he's still doing fantastically here.
Yeah.
Kibler with most of the tools you'd expect in a slow Warlock deck, except for those board clears, which are pretty relevant. Seems like Kibler's just going to try to hang on this game as much as he can, but is it really enough?
Yeah, I mean, he's played 3 of his taunts. He has Defender Vargas left. He has a heal bot, but is that really going to be enough? Like, maybe not. He can. Forsen can get through most of this board. He does have to leave behind something. He has to leave behind the Sinjin at least. So, but again, it's kind of like eventually the Warlock has to clear the Shaman's board somehow
Hmm.
to win the game, or else you eventually will die.
What a
And
difference it
there's
would have
no.
been if he had the Spider Tank, though.
Yeah, I mean the Spider Tank would have just sealed the game for sure.
Do you feel there's really any chance from Kibler still though? I feel like it's just too slow to get on the board, too slow to set up a win condition. Really, the game that you're playing is probably to trade throughout the game and hope the shaman runs out of cards completely. And I don't know if that's really a winning strategy at this point.
I think you're just too slightly behind on board. Like you can clear off if you went abusive Doomguard, you could clear off the big threats, but then you're still taking 8 on the backswing. Your opponent develops more minions. You're just taking too much incremental damage. That again, if you can't clear the entire board, you will die. That's just kind of how it goes. And so
All right, well,
I
it
would
looks like he
think,
is making that play.
yeah, I think even if he runs Forsen out of cards, the fact that Forsen has minions just alive is enough.
And Forsen also has a lot of direct damage spells in his deck. We've seen quite a few of these shaman decks, and really the difference between the success and the failures has been that little bit amount of spell damage to seal out the games.
I think it was really intelligent by Kibler, though, not to kill the Fel Reaver, to leave it up. You take the same amount of damage, you challenge what's left with the 3-1 taunt, and you get to mill out. Forsen is at 4 cards, which means you get to mill out exactly his deck with his draw. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, if Kibler doesn't get 2 cards to play, then Forsen won't run out of cards. But he can basically run him out of cards. Like I said, though, the problem is he just has too much stuff. Like
Yeah, I
even
mean,
if
look
he
at
mills
this.
him out, he can't win. He's just dead to board. I
Well,
mean,
Kibler needs a Shadow Flame, and he can't have that in his deck.
oh,
Oh! MC Tech.
I think you MC Tech before tapping. Yeah, you trade a bit first. You
Narrow
have to
down
MC
the
Tech the
options.
8-5. I think
Yeah.
you literally have to get the 8-5. Uh, yeah, that seemed it's a 1 and 4 to win the game maybe.
Maybe.
No, and
What can you tap into now?
well, you have to tap into something. Nope.
Oh, do you know what would have been sick if he then tapped into another MC Tech?
Yeah, but then he couldn't use it.
He could have if he didn't attack first.
Yeah. So maybe there's a little merit to not attacking first. Just tap first, see what you get.
Depends what was there. But
So not tapping first is better if you take the Fel Reaver, because then you're not dead to the spare part that gives attack,
mhm.
which you got 2 of. So
Well, pretty
yeah,
rough stuff for Kibler. It does seem like perhaps this line of adding on another slow deck, especially being one that has kind of failed so far in the tournament, may not have been the best idea. But we will see in this best of 7. Being down 2-1 isn't the worst of situations.
yeah, he's gonna get off that deck ASAP though. He's just like
Yeah.
I'll take my priest win now, thanks.
Yeah. It looks like Forsen is going to try again with the Warlock. So far, the Warlocks have been very unsuccessful throughout the tournament. We've had less of a sample size from the slower Warlock decks, but seeing the games play out, it seems like they may actually be worse than the aggressive ones.
Yeah, what do you think about Forsen didn't play abusive on turn one?
With Mortal Coil as well. Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems a bit weird.
Kibler actually kept Azure Drake off the mulligan just because he values the extra
The
health.
hope.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
pretty intelligent.
Well, here comes probably a black one. Oh, the Dark Cultist. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't quite see
So,
his hand there.
so yeah, I mean, I think Forsen's going to be really ahead on board. And
Wow.
Velen's Chosen's going to have to carry pretty hard.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Even if you Velen's chosen, his creature still dies to the board while Forsen can continue developing his.
Yep. I mean, the main issue, though, is unlike last match, this priest deck isn't really filled with taunts. It's just, general value minions.
What do you think about just playing the Northshire and healing rather than Velen's chosen? That seems like it may have been better.
Yeah, the 1/3 body does contest those quite well anyway.
And you kind of require your opponent to kill both, which is,
That was a really good draw for Forsen.
yeah, the one drop.
Yeah, now Shadow Word Death is legal in this format, so I was thinking maybe you could just jam down that Doomguard next turn. You can still do that, and I think you should.
Yeah,
But
looks good.
yeah, unless you top deck.
Oh,
something.
yeah. Yeah, you top deck the right card to Doomguard away.
Oh no, he's going for the Magma Rager. He
Well,
needs to get this
if he
juggle.
gets the juggle, it's pretty good.
Oh, I
Nope, he does
missed.
not, though.
So now he has to trade. Why did he just Doomguard? He would have won so hard.
Well, the Magma Rager is still pretty effective in this situation.
Yeah,
Somehow.
who knew? Who knew? It's kind of been Kibler's thing, is his opponents having Magma Ragers and not getting punished. They're just actually good against Kibler.
All right. Well, here comes Sylvanas.
It's
And
happening
there goes
against
the
all three of his opponents. All three.
Forsen doesn't even want to trade.
I think you go face with that Magma Rager.
Because you're no longer vulnerable to death.
Yeah, you just go face. Your opponent's going to trade into that Magma Rager for you.
What cruel punishment we've resorted to.
He actually would. That's the best part.
Yep.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet to watch. He's going to trade into it too. So, I mean, we laugh, but good play by Forsen. Going face with that Magma Rager.
And Forsen can basically drop his entire hand. Oh, Jeeves, though. You don't need that. I think it's time to go face and drop your
Yeah,
hand.
it's time to go face. Jeeves, he's dead, Crip.
Yeah.
Your opponent is dead. There's not a single combination of cards that are legal in this format that bring him back.
Right.
Who needs cards when your opponent's dead?
Those facial expressions from Kibler.
You don't trade. Come on. You thought about this last turn. The face is the place.
Face is the place. Forsen agrees. Or does he?
Okay, so your opponent draws Mind Control tech. They take the Doomguard. Oh, come on.
What?
Oh, what? Oh,
All right.
come on.
Well, I believe there's
He-
still
he's-
no
he's
card that
still
works. Yeah.
I still would have been cool to go face. Yeah, you can draw 2 cards from these Northshires.
And I'm sure both of them would be just as meaningless.
Yep. Can't draw a Holy Nova, that's for sure.
Is someone injured?
Yeah. Holy Nova would have been alright. You would have been at 7. With some kind of board, kind of. But no, that doesn't do it.
Yeah,
Kibler
so
concedes. Forsen's up 3. Forsen is on match point here. Again, guys, for the final, we are doing best of 7. Forsen's added deck was the Paladin, which took a quick victory in the opening game. and now he's on Hunter, and he's got to beat up 3 mid-range decks. That can't be too hard of a task.
It's really not that hard. I mean, I think of his Hunter deck, we didn't see much of it. We saw a lot of one-drops. I think if it's well built, it's almost guaranteed to take a win off one of these three. Kibler's going to go with the strongest option first, try to get a win on the board with Priest. We've seen his Priest do really well against Hunter. It's 2-0 against Hunter in his past 2 matches. But that is a pretty powerful Hunter hand.
Yep, double Leopardome, double Juggler. That's 2 pair.
But Kibler showing his prowess at drawing turn 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah. What can you do here? Pass?
You have to coin out the Juggler. You have to get rid of it. Yeah.
That sucks.
It'd be okay if your opponent didn't have a Shadow Boxer to follow it up. The Shadow Boxer makes you just want to quit.
Yeah.
So, like, if the Priest passed, you're fine.
This is what Kibler designed the deck to be. I mean, he wanted like early game, mid game threats that would just challenge these low creatures very well. The problem with that, while I think when it happens he does take wins, I feel like there's a huge consistency gap between the decks that run a lot of 1-drops and this type of Priest deck. So even though it does counter, I feel like probably 1 out of 3 games just the opposite happens and you don't draw the required cards.
Yep.
Well, that deckhand really wants to be played.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Whoa.
I think that was a bit of a problem on our end. It's pretty fine now. Looks like a turn passed, and Forsen has developed a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And this is one of the problems for the Priest deck. When you don't have a large quantity of attacking minions, 2 1s can just overwhelm you.
Yeah, I mean he's pushing 6 damage this turn. He'll probably push at least another round of 6 damage next turn. 4 damage when Leper Gnomes die. You're threatening the Fel Reaver next turn. It is going to get death, but
well, I think that's good for him that it baits out this death. All that really does is remove 2 more damage. Forsen's even emoting. I mean, this clears a path for your Fel Reaver, and the Fel Reaver, from what we can see, unless there's another death top decked, will connect. And suddenly, after having a pretty good start, I mean, a 1-drop into a 2-drop, he blanked 1 turn.
yeah,
That might be enough, yeah. 1 turn. And he does have quite a few 3-drops. I mean, we've seen Dark Cultist, we've seen Velen's Chosen. I guess that really wouldn't have done anything since he didn't have board, but maybe Dark Cultist is the only 3-drop, and yeah. I mean, now I look at this, and it's like Forsen's pushing a lot of damage, and again, comeback mechanics, pretty much non-existent.
Well, if death happens, it's still recoverable, I feel. It just has to be like a 1 in 20 here to top deck death.
That's not death.
That is death, but it's for Kibler.
Right. So, you kill the Worgen, because that's the best you can do. You gotta play
the Akanai and ping it, or no? You gotta play more stuff than that.
Yeah, I don't think you can play Akanai. I think you have to play Dark Cultist, Twilight Whelp, and heal yourself, and then you're at what? You're at 12, 8, 6, and from the hand, the abusive, you go down to 4. So Kibler's gonna go with that exact play probably. You gotta heal yourself, of course. So. You're living on the prayer.
Kill command, bow. Oh, good. Nazdur moves out. Forsen's like, at least.
No.
Oh, there we go. The Wolf Rider.
Yeah, is that it? He's 1 off, right? Yeah. But with the Leopard Gnomes out,
yeah,
and no healing in Kibler's deck, that's it.
Are we sure there's no healing in Kibler's deck? What if there's like a Holy Fire?
That is legal. So, but would he have enough to clear the board anyway? He would, right? Yeah, he would. He could actually live with a Holy Fire top deck. And, like, by live, I mean just survive another turn. Because he'd have to leave both Leopard Gnomes up.
Well, that's not it. And Forsen is our champion.
Championson takes another tournament win to add to his resume. We're going to have to update the copy pastas.
Yeah, very good stuff from Forsen. I feel like his strategy throughout the tournament was pretty good. It's just, it seems like aggressive decks are going to work. Build 3 aggressive decks, sees what he misses in the final very, very well. I feel like I think Kibler had a really good chance just when the players had 3 decks apiece. But with the addition of each of the decks, the improvements that Forsen made to his lineup versus the improvements that or liabilities that Kibler added to his lineup, I guess could be argued, really weighed it in Forsen's favor. So certainly well deserved, well played, and congratulations to Forsen boys.
Yeah, I mean, I think Forsen had his strategy was similar to some other players, but I think his decks were actually a little more refined. The Hunter deck wasn't, mech crazy. He just threw in Fell Reaver, which again I think was a really smart choice. Put in as many 1-drops as he could fit, and just went face. And I mean, that's what won him this tournament. So,
Yeah.
really smart strategy. And speaking of tournaments, GEICO and One Nation of Gamers, who sponsor this tournament, they are running an entire summer circuit of open tournaments, which you guys at home can play in. So if you head over to liquidheart.com, you can sign up for those. They happen every week. The next feature tournament is this Friday, actually, at 6 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check that out as well. Huge thanks to GEICO and One Nation of Gamers for putting on these tournaments.
And thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had some fun. I know that we started up a bit late today, but it's these days a lot of tournaments happening, and I'm glad to be part of this. I'm glad to be part of the exciting, the fun rules tournaments. And I think overall the result was very good. Yeah, I think
Forsen boys.
Forsen boys, Forsen boys indeed. Congratulations to him. Forsen takes home $2,000, and hopefully you guys took out a good viewing experience. Again, check out the future tournaments that will be hosted. And we're not quite done yet. Looks like we are going to get Forsen for another interview. Forsen really likes the what is the limelight? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, sure. He's a popular guy,
Yeah, it keeps coming in for these interviews. Well, it should be interesting to hear how he prepared for the final match, because I think above anything else in this tournament, he did that in the absolute best way possible. So we'll take a short break while we get him set up, and we'll see what he has to say then. Hello, everyone. We have Forsen, the champion of the GEICO Brawl, here with us. You keep coming back, man. Like every time you win, you're here, and you've been the star of the interview session among your recent titles. How do you feel, man?
I feel good, man. I'm a bit tired. Had a long stream session before this.
Okay. Well, you certainly did very well. We both thought that the adjustments that you made going into the final were about as best as you could have made them. So we're very happy to see that. We did consider very well deserved, very try hard win. Did you spend all of the time between today and yesterday to come up with this final edition, or how did this take place?
No, I just made my deck yesterday after I saw that Brian Kibler was in the semifinals, because I thought that his decks were gonna beat probably the other 2 competitors that were remaining. So I just prepared a deck that was a good control deck, mid-range control paladin that was better against this version of decks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, his addition was the Control Warlock, which seemed a lot like the Life Coach deck, which didn't win games. Were you surprised to see that?
No, I mean, I was pretty sure he was gonna play the same style, and considering he already had Shaman and Paladin, Warlock was probably one of the better classes to do that with, playing mid-range styles, because they have some good defensive early minions as well, and that seemed to be his theme. With the dragon priest thingies, the 1-drops, and then like zombie chows in every deck, and then void walkers are really good against aggro. So I was like guessing he was gonna play something like that.
All right. Well, he did. It didn't really work out for him too well. I mean, you're obviously here, so yeah, pretty good stuff. I don't know. You've been here a lot. We've asked you what you think about the tournament and stuff. But you have anything to mention now that you've won it?
No, not really. Just want to thank all my Forsen boys for staying up, watching, I guess. Thanks for the support.
So with you winning tournaments recently and Forsen Boys being 2-0 in the Archon League, like, is this just are the Forsen Boys taking over finally?
I don't know, man. Maybe we have to take a step back. This is way too try hard for me.
Too try
actually.
hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go
So-
to your website to learn how to get legend?
I don't have a website yet, but you know what? Maybe I'll make one.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Congratulations again. Certainly
man.
well deserved. Another one to add to Forsen Boys' resume, and hopefully that list continues. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed GEICO Brawl #1. It's been a lot of fun to cast the Achaki, and it's been great to watch you play Forsen. So, all good
Thanks.
stuff. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching, guys. We'll see you next time.